Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Diane Hayden, publisher of Natural Nutmeg magazine and Essential Naples magazine, and I am excited to be chatting today with Kelly McCarthy. She is the owner of Beyond Words and Wisdom, and she's in her beautiful Clarity Cottage up in Winsted, right?
Yes.
Cool. Look how beautiful that is.
On a
So,
day like today, I need the cozy fire.
I know. So Kelly is one of our advertisers for Natural Nutmeg, and I love having these little conversations just to chat about, why you decided to work with us and tell us a little bit more about your business. And for people who are watching this, thinking about advertising with Natural Nutmeg or Essential Naples, it's a great informational topic to just hear from someone who's been working with us and just get your viewpoints. So before we do that though, tell people a little bit about what you do. Like what was the journey to starting your practice? Because you came from a very different background than what you do now, right?
I did. I am a recovering pastry chef and restaurant owner.
Well, even
And my
that sounds fun.
yes, and it was overstimulating. It was exhausting. It was 7 days a week. It was a lot. And through my journey, I realized that I was living the expectations of everyone else. And even though I was really good at what I did, it was not filling my soul and it was exhausting. So there came to a point where I realized, or the universe tapped me on the shoulder and helped me realize that this was not the life for me and I needed to make some serious changes. And what the medical world would call a breakdown, I saw it as a breakthrough.
Hmm.
Uh, and spent the next decade plus of my life learning from mentors and modalities of all the things that I really wanted for myself. So that's kind of where I got started. Now I am a soul reader and a universal energy guide and an intuitive graphic designer. And literally, what I do is I become the mirror for other people. And I help people remember the being they were born as well as the shamanic gifts that they are born with. And we all have them. We're conditioned to forget them. So, through these sessions with me, I can actually help people reconnect to those gifts for themselves so that they can use them on their journey. So, that's a little bit about what I do.
Yeah, that is awesome. So we met through a holistic networking group, I believe. So I get connected to people, a bunch of different ways. One of the best ways that I love getting connected to people is through our 10 Best Awards, which you won this year for the first time, which is exciting. And that's really cool
Great.
because readers find people like you for me, basically, that sometimes I don't even know about, but they vote and they nominate people and they win and we get connected. So congratulations on that. That's
Thank,
awesome.
thank you. And I have to say, Diane, that was an incredible moment for me because I've really only been in business for a little over 4 years as a practitioner. So to be able to come into your magazine a very short time ago and literally have been voted as one of Connecticut's best was just incredible for me. So, and usually I'm not into certifications and things like this, but this award feels different. It's far different than anything else. And I just appreciated it so much because it came from clients. It came
Yeah.
from people. It wasn't something that was chosen by you or the magazine. So for me, that just made it feel even more incredible to have won.
Yeah, right. And lots of times it's people who aren't even in the magazine because their clients and patients read our magazine and they don't necessarily haven't ever been advertisers, but their client or patient is still going to vote for them and that's how they win. So that's really cool. Um, so what was it that made you decide you wanted to be a part of the Natural Nutmeg community?
Well, one, I absolutely just fell in love with you and your energy when we first met. It was like,
That's true. We talked for like 2 hours, I think.
we did. Like we just had so much to say. And when I meet another fully aligned powerhouse person, it's just like, okay, let's run. And that was the feeling I got the moment we sat down. Like we had chatted, but then when we met in person and I could really feel your energy and understood your purpose and your passion and how aligned you are with what you do, I was like, yes, this is a woman I want to run with. So that, I mean, in that moment, I made that decision. And I think I went home and you immediately sent me over the contract and it was like, yep, yep, just filled it out and was like, here you go. Like there was really no thought. It was a trusted feeling. And I've gotten really good at trusting and discerning my own thoughts and feelings to know what is right for me and what's right on my path. And advertising with you has been it.
That's awesome. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I remember when we first had that conversation, there were two things that kind of kept coming up, and one was that you typically had built your practice, to date, and we met back in the spring of 2024. But one of the things was you built your practice on word of mouth. And I remember us having that conversation, and I was saying something like, like I can at least 50%, if not more, of the people practitioners I talk to will say the same thing. Like, I don't advertise, I build my practice word of mouth. And I say, okay, that's great. You got to have that. But that's just one tool. That's like one lead funnel that you're going to use, because are you going to let other people basically determine how quickly you're going to build? Because you can't control word of mouth. It's great. It's like one of the best marketing tools out there, but you're relying on other people to talk to other people, and you don't know like how long that's going to take to build. So what would you say to someone who's like, you're just talking like practitioner to practitioner? What would you say now that you've been in the magazine about strictly building by word of mouth?
I would say that what I thought was right was definitely not when it came to referral based businesses. Um, what I'd say is the more you can be in different areas, because there is some science behind this that I didn't really understand. I've heard it, but it wasn't really embodied until I understood the magazine and advertising more. But one of those things is realizing that people need to see you in more than one space, right? And they need to see you multiple times before actually making a decision at some points, right? Especially with things like this. These are big decisions for people to make. Do I want to really step into working with a holistic practitioner that can literally change my entire life, right? So you want to be seen in different avenues. And the magazine was just a beautiful way, as someone like me who loves to write and connects through the written word as well as the verbal word. So this was just such a beautiful way for me to be seen in more ways than one and continuously.
Right. And I'm glad you used that word, because
Yes.
that's what I tell people a lot. It's about continuous and consistency, I think, are the two words. Like, it's about being consistent. And I'll say to people like, listen, you don't have to advertise with us, but whatever you do, be consistent. Because if you're going to try one thing here and one thing there, like, well, I'll try the magazine for 1 month, then I'm going to go do Google for 1 month, and then I'm going to try social media for 1 month. It's like you're breaking the
Yes.
connections of people needing to see you over and over and over in the same spot. So definitely consistency, is so huge in terms of like, pick one thing
Right.
and give it at least 6 months to a year. That's what I tell everybody.
And do it well. Like
Yeah.
put all of yourself into whatever you're doing. And if you are going to split yourself up between a few different things, whether it's social media, newsletters, advertising, make sure that you're consistent with all of them. And if you can't be, then draw back on what you can't be consistent with and focus on what you can. And that's really what I've done with the magazine, is become really consistent in how I choose to write, the topics that I choose to write about, and making sure that I'm consistently in there so that people can find me. And people do. And Diane, let me say, this is one of the reasons why I know you say you can advertise other places, but your magazine is specifically geared towards a certain clientele. And that is the clientele that many of us as holistic practitioners are looking to reach. So I wouldn't necessarily go and advertise in just any old magazine, but yours is specific to the audience that we're looking for. So it makes much more sense to invest. And I see this as an investment, and I know a lot of people don't, but for me, this is an investment in myself and my business, because not only does it help advertise, it has actually made me a better writer.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I love to hear that too. But yeah, that makes sense, because, you're if you are really writing what you're passionate about, and which is what I tell everyone, pick topics that you're super passionate about and write about that. Don't worry about what our monthly topic is. I've got plenty of people writing on what that is. I want you to be writing about what you're passionate about because that's what will bring the clients in for sure. So
Yes.
it's great that you feel like that's just another benefit to me, that you feel like it has enhanced your writing skills as well. So what has your experience been like? Just talk a little bit about, from you, I think you started advertising in July, and what have you gotten as far as like clients since you've been in the magazine?
So I will say this, my very first month being out there, I think the first article I wrote was about my intuitive graphic design and how that works. I will say immediately I had 3 clients for my very first article in the magazine, as well as my ad. I had one person just say that they saw my ad in the magazine and just felt a connection and reached out and had a soul reading with me. So that was number one. Two, I wrote the article and I had someone gift the magazine to an art teacher who was feeling stuck and was not feeling like their creative flow was going. So actually gifted her the magazine because she saw the article, and she ended up having a session with me to help unblock what she was experiencing. So that was 2. And then the third one, I had somebody else see the ad and they contacted me and ended up having a session as well. And so just in my first month of being part of that magazine, I have received clients. So that was amazing. And it continues because people will say, "Hey, Kelly, I saw your article in Natural Nutmeg this month. Oh my God, it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you so much." So it really, even if it's not necessarily clients, their potential, because they're seeing it, they're connecting to what I'm writing, and that opens doors for them for that like, no, trust factor for them to end up becoming clients when and if they're ready.
Right. And that's
Huh.
the thing I talk a lot about to holistic practitioners is sometimes your case was great. It's a great example of literally you can write an article, put an ad in, and you can get clients right out of the gate. That happens. There are other times where it might take 6 months for someone to get response from an article or an ad. And I think people get frustrated initially, and I try to, help them understand we're dealing with when you're dealing with marketing healthcare, it's very different than marketing like other types of industries, like the restaurant industry or event industry or whatever. Because when it's healthcare, people, I don't know what the inertia is, but it's like it takes people so long to get, like off the couch, off their butt, and pick up the phone and make a call, whether it's they're afraid
There's
or,
a lot of fear.
yeah, they've been to a million other traditional doctors and no one's helped them, so they're not sure that, a natural medicine practitioner is going to help them. But the more that they see you and become more familiar with you and read your articles and see your ad and recognize the branding over time, like I can't tell you how many practitioners have said to me, you know what? It took about a year. I was in your magazine for a year, and all of a sudden, like the floodgates opened, and I'm getting like 10 to 20 clients, patients a month. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell. Like, I don't know why. Like, literally, people will walk around with someone's article for like a year and then call them up and say, "Oh, I read your article like last December. I'm finally calling you." It makes me crazy, but it's what it is.
Well, but I will say this too, Diane, because you and I both believe in the law of attraction, the laws of the universe. And I have to say that I went in knowing that this was right. I knew I could feel it. And I have such a deep connection to what I know when it comes to discernment, what's right and what isn't, that I just knew and I believed that this was my next point of attraction, and it literally is. So I went in with no attachment to it, if that makes sense. I
Mhm.
went in just knowing that it was going to happen, but not being attached to the timeline of when. And I think, as we both know with the law of attraction, that this is a big part of it, is not to be stuck on, the expectations of it. So I just let it go, knowing that it was right. And boom, the first month it was 3 clients. So, or actually 4, because I ended up doing an ad for somebody in the magazine as well. after finding out that I was an intuitive graphic designer. So that continues for me and has opened doors, not just through your magazine, but has opened doors for me to do an intuitive graphic design for other people as well, because your magazine was the first time that I actually kind of announced it, that I was doing this. So it opened a whole new process for me with a whole nother niche that I have as part of my business now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, I feel like you're right about what you said in terms of the attraction and kind of the intuition and the knowing. If I like went back and did an analysis of, okay, like who are the most successful practitioners in the magazine who've been in there for the longest or whatever, I would have to say that the majority of them are definitely people that I got that same vibe from with you for whatever reason, right? They had to know, they knew that this was going to work for them. And it was just a matter of, making the commitment to it, doing the writing, getting their, creative ad right, all of that, and boom, like everything clicks for them for sure. Um, One of the other thing that I remember coming up between you and me specifically, and it comes up a lot with a lot of practitioners, is the money issue. And that's like, oh, can I afford this? Like what is how do I put a value on something like advertising when it's so intangible and I just, it's not like a product that I get and I can look at and I could say, oh, okay, I spent like $300 for this product. I touch it, I feel it, I use it, I get, value out of it, whatever. With advertising, it's like you're buying an experience, right?
Well, yes and no, because I do see your magazine as something that, look, I've handed it out to people. I had a retreat last month, and I actually gave every single person that came to the retreat one of the magazines. So for me, it is a product. For me, it is something tangible because I can show people, look, I write for a magazine. Like this, yes, it's an experience, but it's one that helps me in every single way. So I don't see it as and again, like I said, Diane, this is an investment in your business. This is no different than people who want to spend money on boosting ads on social media and things like that. It's just a different outlet. So for me, at first, I was like, ooh, can I afford this? And then right immediately after, it was like, how can I not? It was an immediate switch of knowing this is the next step. This is what I need to do for me. Now, other people with their scarcity mindset, I understand it. But when I look at how much I have been gifted just because of being a part of this magazine, it's incredible the amount of connections that I've made, even when it comes to just meeting other practitioners, at the gala and all these other things, learning about other people through the magazine, reading their articles. It has created collaborations between me and other practitioners that are part of your magazine because look, they show me their professionalism. They show me by advertising in it and writing in it that they're going to the next level, if you want to call it that. They believe in their business enough to invest in it. So I believe that we need to invest in our businesses and stop dreaming and wishing and hoping for them to succeed and actually take action towards things that can help our businesses move. And for me, it was a no-brainer with your magazine, especially with you at the helm. And I will say this, because you have to have someone who knows what they're doing. And the fact that you had that 18 years already under your belt told me right from the get-go, this is a woman who knows what she's doing. This is a woman that you can trust. This is a woman you can invest in that will help you make better connections and become, like I said, even a better writer because I am consistently writing articles. So that leads me to, hey, maybe somewhere down the road, there might be a book, right? Because I'm practicing all of this writing. I'm getting really good at it now to the point where people are contacting me about it. So you never know what's going to come next. So I say go for it. Like, what do you have to lose, really? You only lose in the chances that you don't take. And for me, this has been a phenomenal chance that I took, but it wasn't a chance because I knew from day one that this was going to work. And it has.
Yeah, two things I love that you said. Just, what do you have to lose? It's interesting. I was having this conversation with like a brand new practitioner, and I said something that I didn't even think was like that uh impactful. And she came back to me like a week or two later and she's like, you said something to me that's just stuck in my head and I have to, I have to tell you. What I said to her was, in 18 years of doing this,
Mhm.
the only people that I have seen fail, the only practitioners that I've seen fail, their businesses not, work or continue or whatever, are the ones who didn't keep trying. And that's literally true. Like the ones who just didn't keep wanting after the next day, just wake up, do it again, wake up, do it again. Just keep trying, do something else, try a different avenue, talk to different people, just keep doing it.
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same thing, like just a little bit about what you were saying too. Like, what do you have to lose? It's just you've got to just try things. You have to just put yourself out there and, and like you're saying, invest in yourself.
Yeah,
And the other thing that you mentioned was the connections, and that's one of my favorite things to do is connect holistic practitioners. And that's why we do our networking groups once a month where everybody gets on a Zoom call like this and we go around the room and introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about our businesses. And we have guest speakers that do presentations and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I've tried to incorporate over the years for you guys to help you beyond just being in the magazine. Because I think that's important to have like a lot of different ways that you build your practice.
agreed. And you always give us opportunities as well as just writing. So there's always special opportunities to be spotlighted in your magazine, which I think is phenomenal because not a lot of people do that.
Mm.
It's like you just write your article, you just do this, but you're
Right.
like, no, I have this going on, I have this going on, I have this going on. And it just gives people so many more opportunities to be seen. So it's not just the magazine. There are other things that you can do, which I think is amazing. So my next would be your what is it, your podcast? You
Yep,
do?
I have, yeah, podcast and an internet radio show. Yep.
Yep.
So
That'll be my next.
yay. So anything else that you want to say to a new practitioner or someone that's considering, working with us? Any advice or anything you want to say?
I would say stop overthinking it and just trust it and do it. Because when you have the first thought of yes, it's always the right one. It's the second, the third, the fifth, and the 10,000 thought that's trying to talk you out of it that is really trying to, deter you from doing what is right for you. Listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. If there's fear, it's just because you don't understand what's coming next. You don't have the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome because for me, I let go of the expectations. I let go of the outcome of it. And for me, it's been incredible month after month. Whether it's people just reaching out and saying, wow, I saw your article. Thank you so much. It was perfect. To people contacting me for graphic design, from people, asking for soul readings, things like that. So I say, just try it. Again, what do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Everything you're waiting for is on the other side of fear. So just go, just do it.
That's absolutely true. So if people want to learn more about you, how can they connect with you?
Best way is to go right to my website, which is beyondwordsandwisdom.com. It's actually the letter N between the words beyond and wisdom. Or you can email me at kelly@beyondwordsandwisdom.com. You can follow me on all social media. I make it super easy. It's just Kelly McCarthy. Very, very difficult not to find me. Or you can call me 860-806-9684. Happy to chat with anybody who would like to have a conversation.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Thank you. I appreciate the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for listening to this. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at Diane at naturalnutmeg.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.